Hello, good evening to you and welcome to Newsnight.
The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Coming up tonight, OSP summons TV host Paul Adom-Otchere over airport revenue audit scandal. We have exclusive details here on Newsnight.
Also coming up, Christian Council warns military against inflaming tensions in troubled Boku, days after President Mahama directed the armed forces to shift from peace to peace enforcement.
And no more toll booths. Ghana to adopt fully electronic toll collection.
More from the roads minister as he announces reforms to deal with contractors and persons who supervise shoddy roads, including surcharging them.
Physical barriers in any road, and the tolling would only apply to roads that are engineered, meaning that roads that have been fixed. So we don't intend to put tolls on any rough road and other things.
We'll also hear his response to the minority in Parliament over claims of alleged bias in the allocation of roads under the Big Push initiative.
And also in NSMQ tonight, Boku School back on top in Ashanti Regional Championship of the National Science and Maths Quiz, ending their 3-year wait. Business.
Bank of Ghana cuts its key lending rate by some significant margin to 25%, the biggest cut in a long while, as it seeks to reduce the cost of credit and stimulate growth.
And in sports, Ghana Premier League side Nations FC open to the sale of Razak Simpson if the right offer is received.
We've got the latest of these and many other stories coming up tonight. My name is Kenneth Jesse.
And my name is Perlo Full.
You can join the conversation via our WhatsApp platform. It's 055 11 11 997. Details after this. Hello again. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has summoned Paul Adom-Otchere, former board chairman of the Ghana Airports Company Limited and host of Metro TV's Good Evening Ghana, to appear for questioning in connection with a corruption investigation.
Well, the probe centers on a contentious revenue assurance audit deal between the Ghana Airport Company and a private firm linked to the CEO of Strategic Mobilization Limited, SML. According to a letter dated July 25, 2025, the OSP has identified Paul Adom-Otchere as a suspect in the ongoing investigation into alleged corruption and related offences. Now, the OSP has directed Paul Adom-Otchere to present himself. We'll bring you more on the story later in the bulletin.
And in other stories tonight, the Christian Council is cautioning the military against engaging in acts that could inflame tensions or alienate the locals in Boku. Well, this comes on the back of concerns raised by President Mahama about the resurgence of the Boku conflict, stating that the current fighting is being carried out by individuals who seek to derail the push for lasting peace.
Now, speaking during a courtesy call by the overlord of the Gonja Kingdom, President Mahama said he has directed the Ghana Armed Forces to take a more robust approach towards anyone involved in criminal activities.
Your Majesty, there can be no progress without peace, and I wish to commend you for the peace that reigns in Gonjaland. It is my wish that other areas will learn from the peace that Gonja enjoys. So I take this occasion to appeal to our brothers and sisters, Kusasis and Mamprusis, to give peace a chance. We cannot accept this current situation where students are shot in school and killed. We can't accept the current situation where teachers, public officers have all run away from Boku because they are afraid for their lives. And we have given the mediation efforts to Otumfo, and he has briefed me constantly on the progress that he's been making. And we are almost there. And so the current fighting and killings can only be done by people who want to derail the mediation effort. And so let's give peace a chance. But as the army has announced, I have directed the army to move from peacekeeping to peace enforcement. That means they're going to be a bit more robust with anybody who is involved in criminality. And so let us give peace a chance, not only in Boku, but in Nkwanta and all the other places where we currently are suffering conflict.
Well, the MC for Boku, Isaac Azunaba, says he expects the military troops deployed to the area will conduct themselves professionally.
This time around, know very well that the military command has given some briefing to the men on the ground. And since they were deployed here 2 days ago, you can see professionalism in handling the reference citizens in Boku. So I don't expect any unprofessional conduct from the security apparatus.
And so now that they are in Boku, are they in your care? Are you responsible for their upkeep, or this is done by central government?
The upkeep is generally done by central government.
Well, on the back of this, the military has issued a statement on their peace enforcement exercise in Boku and its environs. My colleague Michael Ashale is in the studio and he has details of what's contained in the statement.
Well, Pearl, what we know here is that the Acting Director General Public Relations, Captain V.A. Ahin, is the one who signed this statement from the Ghana Armed Forces, and it says that the Ghana Armed Forces operating during this period will be conducted in areas to include Boku, Binduri, Nalerigu, and Zebela. This peace enforcement phase, they say, will see the military undertake robust and purposeful operations that could enhance community protection while ensuring sanity returns to affected areas. The military will use all necessary force to restore law and order during its operations and call on all citizens to adhere to law and order, including all agreed restrictions during the period. The renewed curfew period of the affected areas is from 2 p.m. to 6 a.m. and will be enforced to the letter. The Ghana Armed Forces concludes and says that it wishes to appeal to all well-meaning Ghanaians, particularly the good people of Boku, Binduri, Nalerigu, Zebela and its environs, to cooperate with the security forces. Any attempt, they say, at distracting the operations and activities of the force in place, including attack on the security personnel, will be met with appropriate response. The Ghana Armed Forces remains firmly committed and in readiness to execute its constitutional mandate to ensure that the country is peaceful and its citizens are safe.
So that's a statement from the military. Well, the Christian Council has also issued a statement on happenings in Boku. Michael, what's the charge of the Christian Council to the military?
Well, the council, we understand, is urging the security agencies stationed in Boku to carry out their duties with utmost professionalism, impartiality, and restraint. Security personnel, they tell us, must avoid any actions that may inflame tensions or alienate the local population. Their foremost responsibility is to protect all citizens, including vulnerable groups and places of worship, without discrimination or intimidation. That's what the statement from the Christian Council says.
Thank you very much, Michael Ashale, with details on those two statements, one from the military and also one from the Christian Council.
Right, and moving on tonight, 12 companies have submitted bids to operate Ghana's new electronic road tolling system, according to the Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwame Agboja. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series on Wednesday, the Minister confirmed that all toll collection will be fully electronic with no physical toll booths or barriers on any roads. He further stated that the Ministry has submitted proposed new toll rates to Parliament via the Ministry of Finance for approval.
My brothers and sisters, what are we doing now? To improve the maintenance regime, Cabinet has given approval for the reintroduction of road and bridge tolls with a focus on modernizing the collection of these tolls. We have done the transition, that we want to transition to electronic and automated tolling system, enhance transparency and auditability of revenue inflows, improve user experience and reduce congestion at toll points. 12 firms have submitted applications currently under evaluation. Proposed new toll rates have been submitted to Parliament via Ministry of Finance to determine the rates we are going to be charging when the toll is implemented. We are hoping that this will be based on electronic platform. There will be no physical barriers in any road, and the tolling would only apply to roads that are engineered, meaning that roads that have been fixed. So we don't intend to put tolls on any rough road and other things. But when we make interventions, then we can toll them to raise more money to maintain that and to fix other roads in the country.
We have more on this story still to come, but let's take you back to Boku, Pearl.
Well, the Christian Council is urging the security agencies stationed there to carry out their duties with utmost professionalism, impartiality, and restraint. Security personnel must avoid any actions that may influence tensions or alienate the local population. Now, their foremost responsibility is to protect all citizens, including vulnerable groups and places of worship, without discrimination or intimidation. Now, let's go on the phone lines and speak to the General Secretary of the Christian Council, Reverend Cyril Fayusi. Good evening and thank you for your time on Newsnight.
Good evening, and good evening to your cherished listeners.
Well, in your statement, you indicated that churches have also been impacted by the ongoing conflict in Boku. Can you give us more details on what's contained in your statement?
I think one of the major hospitals serving the entire Boku area is a Presbyterian hospital. And when you begin to evacuate students and teachers, you can be sure that medical personnel who are working for this church facility who want to leave the area. So that's why we are calling for calm and professionalism as far as the security agencies are going to conduct their work.
Is there a reason you're talking about the impartiality part?
It's not for any particular reason. It's a general statement that sometimes you can have security agencies support one faction or the other, and that is not what we are calling for. We are calling for being impartial and professional in their work, in their approach to peacemaking and enforcing the peace.
Reverend Cyril Fayusi, thank you so much for speaking to us. He's the General Secretary of the Christian Council.
Indeed, and a reminder again that you can be part of the conversation by sending us a WhatsApp on 055-1111-997. Let's continue with our earlier story about the Minister for Roads and Highways during his accountability series today, and responding to concerns raised by the minority regarding alleged bias in the allocation of roads under the Big Push initiative. He said the focus is not on equal distribution, but on prioritizing areas with the worst road conditions. He dismissed claims that any region had been neglected, stating that all regions have been considered.
We were not there when the budget was read. So how would they have understood what was said? Maybe they are acting on rumors since they were not there. But what the finance minister said was quite clear. And then the Big Push projects are in two categories. President Mahamad's vision for roads that he has mentioned in the past, which we've been working on, and the additional projects that we have taken on as a result of the nature of those roads, which do not have enough sustainable source of funding. So, for instance, when you take the Western Corridor from Winchi, it doesn't start from Winchi, but the project we are doing is from Winchi to Wa. So, how do you try to share the road from Winchi to Wa amongst everybody? Because, truth be told, the road between or within some regions are better than others. In fact, when I went around, I didn't even see any contractor working in any part of OT region. It was as if it didn't exist. Almost every contractor working in OT was off-site. So there wasn't any project going on. And there are some places that contractors were actively working. Reset means equity as well. So if you have more and others have nothing, we bring them also to a level of sustainability before we share the other ones. So it is not about sharing equally amongst others. It's about addressing the issues. I can guarantee you, Big Push project touches every region, all the 16 regions. It is not even true that there's a region that has been left out of Big Push. Every region has got a Big Push project. So I can sympathize with my colleagues who were not there when the budget was read that maybe they are acting on rumor.
Well, the minister also outlined new measures aimed at holding contractors accountable for substandard road construction.
Everybody knows a road that was built, which should last for 10 years, which is failing. What we are doing is to let agents of state who look into this, to look into them. But going forward, we are saying that from now, contractors who get work must show competence and commitment to do the good job. For instance, we notice at the ministry that contractors get work, and then when they are asked to buy, let's say, performance bond, they go to an entity. The entity, without making any checks, give them some cover, believing that government will never come back to cash the bond if things go wrong. Let me sound this warning. From now, when you are a contractor, you do work, and the work fails without explanation, we shall cash the bond. We shall cash the bond to use to restore the road. If you are a consultant, before you get work at the Ministry of Roads and Highways from now, you will need to buy professional indemnity insurance. Because if you supervise work that fails without any explanation, we will draw down on your insurance cover to make sure we cover the damages that you have caused. So this is a very clear message to contractors and consultants. We are no longer going to tolerate shoddy work under any circumstances. And also the third leg, staff of my agencies who supervise. And indeed, read what the finance minister said and part of our laws. If you are working with highways, feeder road, urban road, and you supervise work or authorize payment for works that were not done or were not done properly, if we find you out, you will be surcharged. I think that is just quite clear. That is the only way we can restore some sanity and decency and also improve the quality of work.
That's the Roads and Highways Minister, Gavin's Kwame Agboja there. Let's move on tonight because the Ghana Journalists Association and the Media Foundation for West Africa have strongly condemned the violent assault and arrest of JoyNews journalist Carlos Coloni while he was covering a demolition exercise in Spintex here in Accra. The incident has sparked widespread outrage, with the two organizations accusing the government and the national security of perpetuating a culture of impunity against journalists. My colleague Carlos Coloni narrates how it all unfolded.
Around 6:20. That was on when? Is it Thursday or some? It was Tuesday. I'm a pressman. What are you doing? He's an eyewitness. What are you? Oh. What's happening? What's happening? You are pressmen. No, but the way he handled the machine can have an impact. We are here to report on what is happening. Yes, we are media men. Yes. We understand you are doing your work, but you cannot stop us from doing our work. Yes, respectfully. Yes. Okay. That's what I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry, we're using the phone. I'm just making a call. You'll not become evidence. Not become evidence. Now. And not become evidence. I tell you, just press the phone. I was talking to my producer. I'll slap you. Oh, don't slap him.
So that's how events unfolded earlier today between Carlos Coloni, an eyewitness, and the armed military personnel. Thankfully, we have on the telephone lines the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Kwabena Jumfo. Thank you very much for your time tonight. Beyond condemning this act, what else? What other steps is the GJA going to take?
Okay, Kenneth, let me first of all greet your cherished listeners and also commend your team for serving Ghana. I believe that you are doing exactly what the Constitution mandates us to do, and I'll commend all journalists in the country for living up to the task and up to their call in ensuring and delivering on our mandate. If you ask me, let me say that we have not just condemned, we have said that we are going to make our position known tomorrow at our presser. We have said that this is really unfortunate. You see, within a period of 2 weeks, we have had officers attacking journalists. You just remember 2 weeks ago, during Bawku North, Iran, a senior police officer, openly, publicly slapped a journalist, assaulting a journalist. And today, we have men and women in uniform. The security institution, the security is supposed to provide and safeguard lives and properties in this country, are rather inflicting pain and injuries on us. The security, which is supposed to protect lives and properties, to ensure that we go about our usual duty, our normal duty, without fear or favor, they are rather attacking us. It means that there's no security. It means that we live in a state of fear. But regardless, we have said that nobody can guard the media in this Ghana. Nobody can guard the vibrant media we have, the media pluralism we have built over the years. Nobody can guard us. That irrespective of what they do, we will continue to discharge and deliver on our constitutional mandate without fear or favor. And so we condemn it in no uncertain terms, and we are saying that it is very scary that, look, we are in the 7th month of the year, and we are telling you that as we speak, we have recorded about 12 attacks on journalists already. Right. Averagely 2 every month. This is very scary because, Kenneth, let me give you the data or the statistics. The records available to us indicates that averagely in the past 20 years, every year, the attack on journalists starts at 12. It means that every year, the attack on journalists, the number of journalists who are attacked in the line of duty, stop. Today, we are just in the 7th month. Even before the 7th month ends, we have reported 12 already.
Right.
Very alarming. Very scary.
Very alarming indeed. And our research and data team here at JoyNews puts that figure at 13. Do you think that that could anyway impact how journalists go about their jobs? Will that put some sort of fear in journalists? And could that even affect Ghana's ranking on the World Press Freedom Index?
It's very unfortunate, but the truth is that yes, it will affect us. We have been fighting, that under my first term as the president, I led the charge to end or to fight against perpetrators who rejoice and who has the tendency of inflicting pain on journalists. Remember that we took so many drastic measures and decisions to end this impunity. And it's unfortunate that it is now becoming alarming during this year. And you see, it will not just affect our ranking on the World Press Freedom Index, but even the way the international media system, how they see Ghana, because Ghana is seen as one of the freest media environments in the world, and especially in Africa. We believe that under the current government or president, we are fortunate to have our very own, one of us, who is the person of President Mahama, who is a member and a member in good standing, a good member of the association, leading the charge as the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Somebody who we know that shares in the plight of journalists, who we know shares in the pain of journalists, and understands the difficulties and the challenges journalists go through. We are putting our lives on the line just to serve the good people of this country. And that this thing is happening. We believe that President, in the early months of his administration, have engaged him. He has given him some assurance which he fulfilled. One of them, or a few of them, one, you remember recently we arrested a suspect, one of the suspects in relation to the killing, the murder of Ahmed Swale. This was an assurance he gave me that regardless of how long the case has lasted, regardless of how cold the case has become, he's going to make sure that the police resurrected and ensure that the suspects and the perpetrators are brought to book to face the full rigor of the law.
Okay.
And he fulfilled it before the end of March. The police have come out to tell us that they've arrested one of the suspects. Now, coming forward, Latif Idrisu of Multimedia, your own person, when he was arrested, when he was assaulted, during the arrest of Untumi, just right in the at the front of the Yoko office. What happened? The president assured us that the perpetrators will face the full rigors. Just few days later, the police arrested one of the suspects, arraigned him before court, and was remanded. Very chilling news. So with all this news, we thought that we were getting somewhere. Just for us, in the span of 2 weeks, record 4 attacks. This is unprecedented, and we are saying that it's very scary. And we are going to make our positions known. We believe that the president immediately must direct the arrest and interdiction of these security officers who perpetrated this attack. immediately. Even though we commend, in as much as we commend them for the statement issued, we believe that the immediate step is to arrest, cause the arrest and interdiction before investigation can even start. Because we are not just impressed with the investigation bit.
Mr. Jumfo, are you giving any timelines to government?
We will set our position tomorrow. After that we are addressing the media and the public tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the Ghana International Press Center, and we will make our position clear on this matter. And we will also let them know that if the security thinks they can continue to assault us, we also will explore all the options we have. In fact, the plan is larger than the sword. We have our weapons, and we are going to explore the options we have in combating such impunity against our members.
Albert Kwabena Jumfo is the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. Thank you very much for your time this evening. Let's take you to the court now, Pell.
Well, the Court of Appeal has granted bail to founder of the defunct Capital Bank, William Atu-Essien, in the sum of 10 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties pending the determination of appeal against his 15-year custodial sentence. A 3-member panel chaired by Justice Anthony Opon ordered Atu-Essien to deposit his passport with the registry of the court as part of the bail conditions. Mr. Essien's legal team turned to the Court of Appeal after the High Court dismissed a similar bail request in February. Now, the latest development in the case comes amid growing calls on President John Mahama to grant him a presidential pardon. Now, Kenneth Jesse is here with me. He's been following this story. Kenneth, give us a brief background of this case.
Just to refresh the memory of our listeners, on December 13th, 2022, Atu-Essien pleaded guilty to 16 counts, including conspiracy to steal, stealing, and money laundering before the High Court, presided over by Justice Eric Che Bafo, a Court of Appeal judge sitting with additional responsibility as a High Court. Now, his guilty plea formed part of a plea bargain agreement with the state under Section 35 of the Courts Act. And according to the agreement, Essien was to refund 90 million Ghana cedis to the state. At the time of the agreement, he had already paid 30 million cedis and was required to pay the remaining 60 million in 3 installments. However, by April 28, 2023, he failed to pay the first 20 million cedis installment. And as of October 12, 2023, Essien had paid a total of 37 million Ghana cedis, leaving an outstanding balance of 53 million Ghana cedis. And this prompted the state to file an application for a custodial sentence under Section 35(7) of the Courts Act. Now, Justice Che Bafo, after considering the state's application, sentenced Mr. Essien to 15 years in prison, and the judge described Essien's actions as cold, deliberate, and calculated, noting that as a majority shareholder of the bank, he acted with greed by misusing funds and even attempting to establish another bank.
Thank you very much, Kenneth Jesse. We can now go to one of our top stories where the Office of the Special Prosecutor has summoned Paul Adom-Otchere, former board chairman of the Ghana Airport Company Limited and host of Metro TV's Good Evening Ghana, to appear for questioning in connection with a corruption investigation. Now, the probe, we understand, centers on the contentious revenue assurance audit deal between the Ghana Airport Company and a private firm linked to the CEO of Strategic Mobilization Limited, SML. And we're excited and glad to have Paul Adom-Otchere here on Newsnight to talk to us about this issue. Now, Paul, before you tell us what you know about the reason you're being pursued by the OSP, what's your initial reaction to the OSP's summons for you to submit yourself for investigations? Mr. Paul Adom-Otchere?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm just asking that before you tell us what you know about the reason you're being pursued by the OSP, what's your initial reaction to the OSP summons?
My initial reaction is that I think it's a witch hunt of some sort, because the matters that the OSP is investigating are purely matters of management. They have very little to do with board or anything, or a board chairman's. It is the management of giving a contract to do the PPA to a company to do some work. I didn't even know that the contract had been signed after the processes that went through at the board. I'll tell you about. Sorry, I'm not where I am, so maybe it's difficult. But so the processes the management goes through the PPA to award contract, some of the contracts come to the board, some don't come depending on the threshold. So if OSP is investigating how a company gives contract to the PPA and if chairman come and answer questions, then I will assume, and I hope I'm wrong, that it's a dastardly witch hunt. And why is it a witch hunt? Because of, let's say, something about OSP. Indeed, that is I request that OSP not we have refused it.
Ms. Adom-Otchere, can you reposition yourself?
Hello?
Please, can you reposition yourself? We're losing you a bit.
Okay, let me try and see. Sorry, my office here, I mean the network. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, so you're talking about the issue of witch hunting.
Yes, I'm saying that you're asking what is my initial reaction. And I said my initial reaction would be that it's a witch hunt. I just hope that I'm wrong. Because matters that are being investigated, it's a purely management issue. It's really not a board chairman issue. And I can tell you the story about it if you have a bit of time, like a minute or so.
So are you going to present yourself to the OSP for investigations?
Oh, for sure, yes. I'm going to present myself for the questions. The OSP wanted me to come tomorrow at 3 o'clock, but my lawyers can't make it tomorrow. So earlier, the letter to the OSP has been received, stamped as received, that will take to come on Monday. I'm not available Thursday and Friday. The OSP wanted us at 3 o'clock. So we don't know whether the OSP, he hasn't written back, but he has received it. So we will check tomorrow morning and see. But take Monday, I will surely be there.
Thank you very much, Paul Adom-Otchere. He's the host of Good Evening Ghana on Metro TV. This is News Night on Joy 99.7 FM. It's time for business, and George Riafe is here.
Well, coming up in business, Bank of Ghana cuts its key lending rate by some significant margin to 25%, the biggest in a long while, as it moves to reduce cost of credit and stimulate growth. We'll be hearing from the governor of the Bank of Ghana, who's also responding to claims that he is not under pressure to restore licenses to banks that were recently liquidated by the previous administration. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. The Bank of Ghana has cut its key lending rate to commercial banks by some significant margin. It dropped the rate by 3% to 25%, which has been described by some as the biggest in a long while. We have more from the Monetary Policy Committee press conference.
Addressing the media during the press conference, the Bank of Ghana governor noted that the margin of cut was influenced by current development in the economy.
A reduction of 300 basis points whilst waiting for new data, right? Stand ready to act. That should explain the strategy going forward. They have also made it, clear in the statement that they are committed towards reducing, the policy rate further.
He also revealed that this might be the biggest cut in the policy rate in a long while in the country. The governor of the Bank of Ghana also assured that they will not hesitate to move quickly to cut the policy rate further if it's needed. On fears that there is dollar shortage as well as they managing the forex rate, this is what the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama had to say.
There has been instances like that. We moved in to investigate only to find that some of those importers did not have the appropriate documentation, and that was what was delaying it.
Dr. Johnson Isiama also revealed that they're working to ensure that all foreign exchange and outside are brought into the country.
We want to monitor these flows to make sure that they accrue to the system. We are going to be very active on that front. We are following up with certain data requirements from all those players in the remittance space. Once we do that, the inflows will begin to come in, and whatever pressures you might be seeing locally should be contained.
The Bank of Ghana governor also revealed that they will soon be taking some measures to ensure all players in the financial sector, as well as businesses strictly comply with the country's Foreign Exchange Act.
We reserve the right to make use of the security agencies to enforce these. And let me serve notice that if we get anyone who flouts any of these foreign exchange rules, we are ready to take action and we will enforce the Foreign Exchange Act.
He also assured the market that all the commercial banks in the country should be adequately capitalized by the end of this year.
And that is a Business Desk report. Let's get some market reaction. And Courage Botti is an economist, and he thinks that maybe the Bank of Ghana could have gone down further. Let's hear his thoughts on this development.
As of yesterday, in fact, as of 28, was raising or more at just around 10%, thereabout, really. And if the monetary policy rate is that guidance rate that used to guide the market and mop up excess liquidity or inject liquidity when need be, ideally, they are supposed to be doing the OMO around the policy rate corridor. So just around the policy rate, really. We are seeing a very major disparity now, and that is what gave people the impetus to say maybe you could have rate cuts of even up to 1,000 basis points and all that, because you tend to do OMO at a much lower rate, or mop up at a much lower rate when you want to encourage liquidity in the market. Currently, there is liquidity, and Bank of Ghana needs to mop up, and they are doing that at a very low rate. So there is a bit of mismatch there, but I understand why it is so. Central banks do not move to rattle the market, and so they will adopt a gradualist approach. Remember, he made a profound statement that they will still keep the policy rate tight to prevent a spillover into FX and, of course, recurrence in inflation and all that. So it would be a gradual approach towards maybe at the level they are comfortable with. So,
Courage Botti is an economist. Let's still stay on issues from the Monetary Policy Committee, because the Bank of Ghana Governor, Dr. Johnson Isiama, has maintained that he is not under any pressure to restore licenses of banks that had been liquidated in recent times. Let's hear from him.
Remember, the resolution framework is working. I came into office to find that a lot of progress have been made. Some cases are in court. Some cases are, undergoing certain forms of settlement. And so the process is on, and we'll follow on with the process in that regard. The issue of what to do, it depends. For example, if a court reaches a decision and instructs us to go in a particular way, the board of Bank of Ghana will look at that. But from where I sit at the moment, there's no pressure on me to restore any such license unilaterally. I have to add that. No pressure on me to restore anything unilaterally.
And that is the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama. Now, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman has called for urgent and far-reaching reforms within Ghana's social security and the National Insurance Trust system. She stressed that there's a need for more inclusive, transparent, and further ready social protection system. She made these remarks during the official launch of the 60th anniversary of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust in Ghana.
We must also pause for reflection. We must aim to make the scheme stronger, more equitable, and more sustainable, and to broaden coverage to reach informal sector workers and the self-employed. The next phase of social security in Ghana must be driven by inclusion, sustainability, and adaptability. I mention inclusion because the extent to which our social security system can provide protection to all workers in Ghana, regardless location or occupation, is a real indicator of its effectiveness. Pensions must be demystified and rooted in the financial culture of the people.
Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. Now, the 24-hour economy program would not be effective without a seamless supply chain system. Now, that's according to supply and logistics chain practitioners here in Accra. Now, speaking to Joy Business at the end of a supply chain business forum and exhibition, Director at the Center for Applied Research and Innovation in Supply Chain Africa, Professor Nathaniel Bosu, explained that overhauling the sector may be necessary.
24-hour economy cannot, people can talk about it as a policy, but in practical terms, in terms of its impact on Ghana economy, it cannot work without a 24-hour supply chain system. So let's look at it this way. You want businesses to feel comfortable to invest, to operate 24 hours, 7 days a week, right? You must give them a reason why their supplies should be able to move from morning to evening to through the night. So I think it has to be looked at it as a holistic system of supply chain.
Professor Nathaniel Boso is Director for Applied Research and Innovation in Supply Chain Africa. And that's all for Business-Owned Newsnight. Back to a brother for sports.
Thank you very much. Now, let's do some Ghana Premier League news where Ghana Premier League side Nations FC have confirmed that they are open to the sale of star defender Razak Simpson. The 27-year-old has been subject of interest from a number of top clubs both in Ghana and on the continent. So yet another standout season for the Ambrankese-based side. The Chief Executive Officer of Nations FC, Kennedy Boache Ansa, revealed that the club is ready to sell if they receive the right price.
Yeah, we have had a couple of offers. Just that we haven't concretized those offers yet. But we will not just him alone, but we will not put any impediment in the way of any of our players. If there is any deal, we feel to strive for the club, Nations FC, we feel to strive for the player. Why not let the player go? He's a blaster material. He's a national team player, and so he will not go for cheap. We're not going to coach any figures yet. Once the offer comes in, we are okay. We'll let him go. No, he's had interest from Algeria, Albania. Locally, 2 clubs also came asking for his signature.
Nations FC CEO Kennedy Boache Ansa speaking there now. Zenith Bank, Ashfoam and Serene Insurance have joined a long list of organizations who have signed up for the Joy Sports Invitational. The tournament comes off on August 9 at the University of Ghana Stadium. And this year's edition is sponsored by Royal Sweet Limited, Ayuda Game Energy Drink, Emigo Ghana, and the Luckiest. That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel, for bringing us the latest in sports. Now, government has committed $1 million toward settling part of its debt to the University of Memphis. Registrar of the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, Alex Kweku Asafweje, gave the assurance following recent reports that 181 Ghanaian students on scholarship in the US-based university are at risk of academic dismissal and possible visa revocation due to a reported $3.6 million in unpaid tuition and housing fees. Mr. Asafweje says the Secretariat is actively working to resolve the discrepancies.
University of Memphis, we are on course. Students will not be deported. I give you that assurance. Even I think we are in the process of paying them some money this week. We are in the process of paying some money to them this week. So because the audit is ongoing, we are not paying all. We already paid 400,000 to them. We owe them 3.6, so remaining 3.2. We are paying them 1 million. If that is go through, now the money is at controller. It moves from there to Bank of Ghana, and the transfer is made to Washington.
Well, let's get on to Zoom now and speak to Prince Bansa, who is the president of the PhD cohorts in the UK. Thank you for your time this evening. What was the last time you had any conversation on this with the government of Ghana?
Thank you very much for having me. If you can hear me, please do confirm that because I'm getting some other obstructions. So.
I can hear you.
Yes, so I would say I've just had a long conversation and interaction with the management of the Secretariat from Accra. The reality is that I've been engaging the registrar as well, except that engagement need to produce some sort of practical outcome. And so that is where we are now. But to say that engagement is actually ongoing.
And how do you intend to address or mitigate these challenges as you await on government?
Yes, so I think the issue is quite very precarious. And as we speak now, the situation has gotten to a tipping point. And so for me, what I'll say is that whoever that is supposed to assist the registrar to make this payment as quickly as possible have to move into action and release funding for this situation. In the UK, we have so many students that are due for ejection from the accommodation. Yesterday, I got a call of a colleague who told me that he was contemplating suicide because of the situation, because he cannot just take it. 3 days ago, another colleague of ours fainted as a result of the stress. And so the situation in the UK is not any different from what is happening in the US. And the registrar and the secretariat are aware. The product of my engagement with them today, it does appear to give some sort of assurance. They gave me up to Friday to get back to me as to how they are arranging to address the issues. I must also admit that they have also taken some practical steps that include engaging the universities and writing to some of the universities to give them time to be able to work around the clock. I've also gotten evidence of some fee payment to some number of students, but the situation at large still remains very, very fluid. And so we will plead on the government, the finance minister, whoever that is supposed to release money, to do that as quickly as possible, because if the registrar doesn't have the money, the situation is not going to be resolved. So that is where we are now.
And I know that the situation is dire, as you've mentioned, but briefly, how are the students there coping?
I tell you, it is an eyesore. It's not an easy thing for students in this country. And if you've lived abroad before and studied before, you realize that here it's not like Ghana where you can go and knock at anybody's door. PhD students particularly have to be glued to their computers, researching in one way or the other. So they don't even have any opportunity to do any other work. And so it's really, really a very dying moment for a lot of students. And I get calls literally every day. I get screenshots of warning from universities asking for payment. Some students have also contacted me about schools telling them to pay money so they don't get reported to the Home Office for deportation.
That's quite unfortunate. We hope things get better. That's Prince Bansa, who is the president of the PhD cohorts in the UK. Up next is NSMQ. And after years of chasing the crown, Boku School has stormed back to the top, clinching the Ashanti Regional Zonal Championship in the 2025 NSMQ to end a 3-year wait. At the heart of their victories, Stephen Apemaba, a standout contestant who has written his name in the history books as one of the students to represent the school in the competition from Form 1 to Form 3. His journey ends in glory, guiding his team to regional triumph. And of course, my colleague Collins Frimpong has been there covering everything for us. Collins, run us through today's activities.
So, Ken, today started with the semi-final where the first contest we had Prempeh College competing alongside the only private school in this particular championship. I mean, the Ashanti Regional Championship, Our Lady of Grace, who earlier on came in despite all the controversies in their championship contest. So that particular contest ended on a shocking note when everybody was expecting that Prempeh College will progress to the final and meet the big boys in there, but that wasn't the case. Throughout the contest, Prempeh was leading after round 1, but the last round, which is the riddle, Our Lady of Grace picked 2 of the riddles to qualify for the finals. And also Kumaka also qualifying as the best runner-up with 37 points there. So the second contest also came in with Opoku coming in to win that particular semi-final, the second semi-final. Then we had the final today where we had Steven also competing in there, and he helped Opoku to win with 52 points, and also Our Lady of Grace SHS with 33. Kumasi Academy also coming in with 20 points. Opoku received 4,000 Ghana cedis for winning and also helped their preparation for the national championship. We spoke with him looking at how things have been going on his path, right from Form 1 to Form 3, and also losing. At a point, he told me that it affected him some point, but not his academics.
Thank you, Collins. That's our man on the beat with the National Science and Maths Quiz, Collins Frimpong. But we have a few of your messages that you've sent through our WhatsApp platform. Pearl, what are people saying?
Well, Kofi Mensah from Teshiningo says, what is wrong with the military at all? They are not able to keep peace where there is war. They are not able to enforce order to stop Galamsey. They rather seem to be enforcing order where there is no war or chaos. And we have a final one from Jesse in Sakomon, and he says, we need clear legislation on what we can film and where we can film that. The stupidity of leaving it to the discretion of any uniformed person who thinks he can throw his weight about belongs to the jungle. I urge multimedia to push for severe punitive action against the military personnel who attacked Carlos Kaloni.
And that's how we end News Night tonight. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. My name is Kenneth Jesse.
And my name is Pelu Furi.
But right after News Night is Strong and Sassy with Enimwa.
Hi. Hi, Kenny.
How are you doing?
How you doing?
I like your shades.
Thank you. It's an attempt to look like a serious person. Seems to be the trend that's going on.
Well, I guess it's working. What are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about content creation,
right,
and if it's a profitable venture. So you know how everybody's starting a podcast?
Yeah.
Like everybody's starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, so should you even be starting? Why are you starting a podcast? And I wish there was a way we could regulate, those kinds of things. Anyway, that's not actually what we're talking about. What we're talking about is making money from content creation. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of these, and what goes into making content that's quality, that's interesting, that's all of that. So it's a show about content creation, really.
I'll be listening.
All right then. Well, stay tuned in. Strong and Sassy coming up next.